an extraordinary new MTV reality film shines an important light on our nation's escalating prescription drug epidemic. MTV's True Life, I'm Addicted to Pills follows two young drug users who thankfully are now in recovery. But at the time of this taping, they were in the throes of a dangerous addiction to legal prescription pills. The CDC says more people die from popping legal drugs now than illegal street drugs. Now, a couple of years ago, Florida started to battle being one big pill mill capital. And they established a computer system that basically stops people from going to doctor shopping to get mood-altering, very addictive meds like Xanax and oxycodone. If they get too many, they'll be detected. But with so many people in Florida hooked on pills, when they can't get their usual pill fix, they sometimes turn to heroin. So basically, prescription drugs have become a gateway drug to heroin. Scary. Watch this from MTV.
I use the heroin as a replacement. You know, if I can't get the pills, I do the heroin and I can still function and then I'm not sick.
Well, Dr. Reef Karim, founder and medical director of the Control Center of Beverly Hills, I always say when you want to see a mess, follow the money. I mean, these are supposed to be very limited, very restricted. And, you know, I'm in recovery, 18 years sober from alcohol, and I've heard many, many people in recovery say, yeah, you know, I used to go to my doctor and I said I had a bad back and I showed him an old x-ray and next thing you know, I've got pills and I sell half of them and I eat half of them. I crunch them, I shoot them, I snort them. I mean, this is outrageous. It's crazy.
Yeah, your story is, I hear that story all the time from my patients. You know, there is definitely a point to pharmaceutical companies and doctors, but there's another piece to this. The piece is consumer marketing. Up until the late 90s, pharmaceutical companies would advertise to doctors or to practitioners to try to get them to learn more about their medication so that they could prescribe it more. Something happened in the late 90s, early 2000s where there was a shift to where pharmaceutical companies were prescribing and advertising to consumers. And that's why we see all these crazy commercials like where people are riding horses and hugging each other and saying, hey, my son got better grades because he took this medication. And so that consumer marketing is bringing in all these people that come to doctors and say, I want to be on this. This is the medication I want to be on. And then the doctors have to deal with confrontation up front. And that confrontation is fine for me, but it's very awkward for some doctors who don't want to say no to their patients. And the other important factor here is the majority of these kids get their medications from medicine cabinets of their parents, their friends, and other people they know. It's really coming from the medicine cabinets more than it is anywhere else. So what I would tell your home viewers, get rid of the meds that you're not using out of your medicine cabinet.
A couple of things. One, I want to applaud these two individuals who are now in recovery for having the courage to allow Catherine's cameras in to videotape this. And in these cases, it wasn't from the parents' medicine cabinets, I could say that. But Romani Javasala, you know, I've been in therapy. I spent years sitting on a couch talking to a therapist to work on my issues. And what I understand now is that you go to a psychiatrist and because of changes in insurance, all they want to do is give you a pill. They don't have time to do years. They're not going to be rewarded for doing years of talking cure. So if somebody comes in and says, I'm depressed, they say, here, take an antidepressant, which is a mood-altering, addictive substance. They don't get any better. They're still depressed because they haven't figured out why they're depressed, and now they're hooked.
Yep. Jane, the research is clear that the treatment for most psychiatric conditions is a combination of therapy and medication, and that these things are carefully monitored. No pill is going to take away anything, sadness, addiction, anxiety, any of those things. But you're right, it has become a quick fix. However, those years of sitting and talking to someone on a couch, they're absolutely essential, an essential part of beating an addiction or a problem with mental health.
That's what I'm saying. They're not doing that anymore.
No, they're not.
What they're doing is giving them a pill.
Because it's expensive. It's expensive.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Most of those pills that you're talking about for treating mental health disorders and treating addictions are not addictive medications themselves.
Right.
We need to make that really, really clear. Doctors are not supposed to be giving out Klonopin, Xanax, OxyContin, and Norcos to patients that have an addictive or a mental health problem. So please understand
well, somebody's getting
that
them. I'm going to give Catherine the last word.